Hey everyone, welcome to Birds of a Feather. Today we've got another sliding pegboard idea for you, but instead of hiding it in a cabinet, we're mounting it on a wall. We're going to be using a roller this time around instead of spraying, and we've got two microfiber rollers here. This one has a shorter pile. This shorter one is just going to give us a slightly smoother finish, so we're going to go with this one.
When you take a dry roller and you dip it into your paint, it takes quite a while for the roller to absorb all the paint, and you could be rolling a wall and you might get halfway down the wall before it really starts rolling well. Some people will wet their roller first with water and then dry it either with a spinner or with compressed air, and it's still just slightly damp. And then when you start painting, especially a small project like this, it rolls the paint much better right away. It absorbs the paints and the roller isn't so dry. So some people do like to dampen. You can also just dampen your roller with a spray bottle of water and just mist the whole roller and get it a little bit damp, and then put it into your paint and roll. We have to put this on light enough that we don't get the paint going down through the holes.
The primer that we're using here for this pegboard is KO46, and what is it?
Benjamin Moore Fresh Start KO46.
Would you recommend a larger paint roller? Because I notice you're using a very small one.
I think when it comes to top coat we might, but it's small enough we can get away with this if you can put it on even enough. As long as you don't get kind of streakiness, you can try. And it's kind of the same as painting a wall. You want to start in the middle, because most of your paint when you first dip the roller in is going to be here. Then you're going to spread it this direction, and when you come back it's going to be a little heavier there. You're going to spread it this direction. If you start down here and roll all the way up, by the time you get to the end there's not too much paint left on your roller. So this distributes it more evenly. So you could use a larger roller if you want to, but sometimes it's nice just to use a small one. Come back over where you just rolled with a little lighter touch to try and smooth it out. So again, you start with some paint on your roller, not too much. Start in the middle, roll one direction, come back, roll this direction. Now, even it out. And then slightly roll yourself back about half the width of the roller each time. There you go. And when you're evening it out, you just push lightly so you don't get any streaks.
No, exactly. So a good tip is to make sure that you don't let your edge dry.
Oh yeah.
You have to keep a wet edge.
It's pretty warm out here, so yeah, you don't want to stop and leave a heavy edge there. Then in a couple minutes you'll roll it and it won't roll out. It'll be too dry. Yeah, so it's gonna look a little bit streaky. That's
But that all gets sorted out on the second coat anyway.
Oh yeah, when you put your top coat on. And that's maybe where you want to use it. You might want to use a bigger roller.
So I guess let's clean our equipment and we'll let this dry. With the success of our slide out in my IKEA cabinet, we're now going to do a full-scale wall pegboard that also slides out. And I'm going to show you where that's going to go. Putting it right into this corner.
This wall here.
And again, we're going to put drawer glides so that it slides right out. So these are the glides we're using. They're slow close. And this time we're going to try to install them with something called the Chicago screw. The width of the post on the Chicago screw is just a little too small for these holes, and it's going to cause wobble. So what we're going to do is, instead of using the pegboard holes, we're going to drill new holes. So we've marked off in 3 spots where we're going to drill larger holes, because on this itself the holes are actually a little small. So these holes have to be made bigger, and we have to drill out a smaller hole on the pegboard itself.
I just had to drill out this hole 13/64 so that this fits in nice and snug. And then we're going to drill new holes into here. 1, 2, 3 holes. We're going to line this up and drill those 3 holes. And then we can attach this with Chicago screws. It's like a post fits through the hole, and then from the front a screw that fits into there. So this post lines everything up, holds it even, and then this screws into it. So this will lock it all together. Just like that. All goes right. I should have lined those 3 up and put in the insert from the back. Third insert. Let me just re-drill that a little bit. Make sure it's
Now let's vacuum it because we don't want to get dust in the mechanism.
There you go. On the other side, we'll just take our little screw.
So now we should be able to slide the rest of the mechanism back in place. We can take these off now.
Take a piece of tape off. Slide this back into place. Look at that. Beautiful. Slow close.
So now we're going to do one in the middle to support the weight and one at the end. Going to do the exact same thing, drilling out holes in the pegboard and the metal to accommodate the size of the Chicago screw. The reason we do that is because we don't want any movement in the drawer glide itself, because it's a slow closing mechanism and you don't want any sort of back and forth or side to side movement. So the screw has to be tight, which is why we re-drilled it.
These holes didn't line up with the holes in this. If you look at this, even if you try and get a hole to work, only some of them work. You got one to work and the rest don't line up. So you would have had to drill all new holes.
Yep, which is what we ended up doing.
If you do buy posts that fit these holes, they're 1/4 inch posts, then you could do that and just drill new holes in here and you could use those. You could line it up with one of your sets of holes and you'd drill new holes in here.
We now have our 3 drawer glides screwed into place with the Chicago screws. Now we're going to flip it over and tighten them up on the right side. Right after that, we're going to be ready to install. So what we have here is a platform at the height that we want to start at. And then we've got a right angle drill. We're going to drill into the 3 ends to secure it at the end. Then we're going to be able to slide it out and secure the rest of the screws. Or that's the plan anyways. Because the studs in the wall don't line up with the holes that are already pre-drilled in this drawer glide, we're having to measure 17.5 inches, which falls right here. At the back here, we've got a stud, so we're going to screw right in there. And once we drill this hole, we'll be able to screw into this stud. So here's the hole, all drilled, ready to go.
Close. Come up here and then shut.
Beautiful. One last one and then we can finally screw it into the wall. Beautiful.
Okay, so we have one screw hole, either one of those will hit the corner, and then this new one will hit the front. And that's going to give us.
We started with the upper corner and we just put a screw in there. We pre-drilled and then we screwed in. As you can see, it's tight against the wall. So now this one is drilled and we're just going to put the screw in. just down at the bottom here.
The next step is to slide this out. Keep our height.
So we're now looking for the hole that we pre-drilled so that we can screw right through that too. And that was pre-drilled into the middle as you saw earlier.
I think that's it there.
Yeah, and there it is. We're just measuring to double check.
We don't have to pre-drill this because there's no corner bead, it's simply drywall and a wooden stud.
Okay, so I'm going to get out of my husband's way and we're going to drill that. So we still have the pegboard balanced on the bottom here. We've screwed in all the screws in the back. And now we're aiming for the middle. Because this is such a tight space, we're using an angle drill here. So we're just going to get our screw bit in. And where we're at right now is we've got the back done. And we've got our next hole at 17.5 inches out from the wall. So we're going to be using the angle drill to drill that.
Start our screw, and then when we have enough room, we're going to get our other screwdriver, our drill in. So make sure we're still on here. Everything's level. That's where we want it.
So that's as far as it's in, and we're going to finish it with the other drill.
On these drills, you can set how much tension you're putting on the screw. So you can stop it, or you can turn it up so it has much more strength. Oh no, that's less strength. So I'm going to adjust this most of the way, but it can go much slower, and it can put our screw in without stripping it or going too deep.
2 more to go.
No speed control with this. Now we can put the drill in.
I really should have taken this off.
Here's a tip for you. A lot of times the screws for handles that go through drawers and drawer fronts are too long. This is only 1/4 inch wide. These are electrical ground screws from electrical boxes, and they're 8/32, which matches this handle, and they're nice and short. So it'll go in here perfectly. There we go.
Beautiful. Now I have something to pull this out. Here's where I'm at so far with organizing my pegboard. Got all my milk paints. And the great thing about this is that they're on these binder clips. And when I want a particular paint color, which I can see on the side here, all I have to do is release the clip, and I don't have to take everything off just to get to that one paint color. And of course I've got my stencil brushes and something to stir up my milk paint with. I'm finding that these binder clips alone aren't enough to hold the milk paint onto my pegboard. They're just a little heavy. So I've got these sort of report holders here. They're meant to just hold a couple of pages. And I'm going to cut them down right there. And then once I put these on, they're going to hold tight. What I'm using to cut down these plastic tabs here are these utility snips, and they cut easily through plastic. They're meant to open plastic clamshell packaging, but they work perfectly fine on here. I just tested out just a small bit here, and I got a clean cut. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these just to size right there. I'm also trying a product called Pegboard, and it inserts into the hole and makes it extra grippy. As you can see on the back here, it does grip it really tightly so that it can't come out. However, as compared to the electrical shrink tubing, which we already have, these Pegboards cost $16. I think it's $16 maybe for 50 if I'm not mistaken. So that's pricey as compared to just using the shrink wrap. And I think it's just as effective.
The first shrink wrap, and now I'm putting a second, the next size up on there to make it a little thicker.
So double shrink wrap, wow.
Yeah. If it fits through that whole stuff. So we have double on here, we have one on there, we went up one size. We're gonna shrink wrap that. Now, that's thicker. Let's see if that works.
Let's give that a try.
We're gonna try that on here. Wow, that works even better, I think. You can try it.
Yeah, that's extra grippy.
Yeah. You come to the back and look at it. It's sinking in a little bit, like it's rubbery, and it grips a little bit better.
Yeah, beautiful.
So you can do a double coat.
So we have that. And we also have these little nubby things. They're kind of silicone-y, called Pegboard, but these are $16 for a pack of 50. So I think this budget option of using shrink wrap it works just as well. I finally have the perfect solution for hanging all my milk paints. As you saw earlier, I cut these plastic strips. I've got them hanging by binder clips. And I can either slide them out as I need them, or I can release the binder clips to take off one in the back. So I don't have to remove every single package of paint.